Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're opening up a stack of research, really fascinating stuff that tackles this huge question. Why do some people just seem to thrive, achieve incredible things when everyone, literally everyone, starts the day with the exact same resource?
We're talking about time, aren't we? That great leveler.
Exactly. 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's it. And the secret, according to these sources, isn't about finding more time. It's buried deep in how we think about it, how we use those hours.
Yeah, and this deep dive is powerful because the sources we've looked at, they go way beyond just simple time management tricks. We're getting into the core mechanics,
Yeah.
personal growth, value creation, specifically that compounding power of making intentional choices day after day.
Right. We've got behavioral science,
Yeah.
economic ideas, psychological studies, and they're all pointing really in the same direction.
Yeah.
It all comes down to how you treat time, this abstract thing, and how that determines your actual tangible success or lack of it. So our mission today really is to give you a kind of intellectual blueprint. We want to pull out the absolute critical knowledge on converting the clock, hours and minutes into real results, growth, meaning.
And avoiding that trap of regret later on. We're looking for those aha moments, those shifts in perspective that separate just consuming entertainment from actively pursuing growth, real compounding growth.
Exactly. If you're looking for that mindset shift, the one that makes you treat your time like it's the most valuable thing you have, then stick with us.
Yeah, we're aiming higher than just productivity hacks today. It's about understanding the whole value system, the one used by people who really seem to, master their own path, building a future self you can actually look back on and respect.
Okay, so let's unpack this first big idea from the sources. Time is the ultimate equalizer. I mean, think about it. Money, connections, education, the starting lines are just wildly different for people, right?
Yeah, totally different. But the clock, the sources are absolutely firm on this. Every single person gets exactly 24 hours a day. No more, no less, no special deals.
It's the one resource that just doesn't care about your background, your bank balance, anything. It doesn't speed up or slow down for anyone.
And that forces you to confront this core truth the researchers kept hitting on, the difference between thriving and struggling. It's almost never down to just luck or, being born smarter. It really boils down to the choices, those fundamental daily choices about how you use those 4,440 minutes you get.
And I found the way they contrasted time and money really interesting. You lose money, well, usually you can earn it back.
Yeah.
Like make a bad investment. Okay, maybe another opportunity comes along.
Right.
But time, it plays by different rules, much stricter rules. Once that minute, that hour is gone. It's just gone forever. You can't get it back.
Which makes it logically the single most valuable thing we have because it's non-renewable, completely finite in that sense.
Yeah, non-renewable. And that should create this intense urgency, shouldn't it?
It should. But the sources suggest most of us live like time is infinite. We plan for someday. Someday I'll get disciplined. Someday I'll start that thing. But time doesn't wait around for you to feel motivated. It just keeps ticking forward. You have to consciously, continuously choose to invest it, not just spend it.
Which brings us to that really powerful thought experiment they included.
Yeah.
The bank account analogy. It really sticks with you.
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
Imagine a bank deposits exactly $86,400 into your account every single morning. But here's the rule. Whatever you don't use by midnight, poof, it disappears. Wiped clean.
You get another $86,400 the next day, but yesterday's unused balance, gone. No carryovers.
Now, the sources say no rational person would just let that money vanish. You'd be scrambling to use or invest every single cent before midnight hit.
Absolutely. You'd track it, plan it. You wouldn't waste a dollar.
But then they make the connection. That number, 86,400, that's how many seconds we all get every single day.
And how do most people treat those seconds? With, honestly, astonishing carelessness compared to how they treat the money. It's bizarre when you think about it.
It really is. And that leads right into what the research calls the great paradox of value.
Yeah.
People will guard their money fiercely, right?
Yeah.
Argue over a few dollars, spend ages looking for discounts.
Oh, yeah. Clipping coupons, waiting for sales.
Exactly. But then those same people will just casually give away hours scrolling social media, watching stuff they don't care about, gossiping, activities that give basically zero return.
It's a perception thing, isn't it? Money feels tangible. We see it go. Time feels abstract, endless, until it's not.
Right, until you're older and wondering where it all went.
But the sources insist. Time is your real currency. Every day is like making 86,400 little transactions. You're either investing those seconds in your future or, and they use strong language here, you're essentially bankrupting yourself with regret, paying for today's distraction with tomorrow's limitations.
Okay, but let's get into why this investment is so critical. The mechanism. It's all about the compounding effect, isn't it?
Exactly. It's easy to dismiss 1 hour. It's just an hour. What difference does it make? But the sources use this great example. Imagine two colleagues, starting at the same place, same job, whatever. Colleague A decides to spend just 1 hour every day learning a specific new skill. Maybe coding, maybe marketing, maybe a language.
Okay, and colleague B.
Colleague B just coasts, uses that hour to unwind, watch TV, scroll online, nothing actively developmental.
Right, so after a week.
Difference is tiny, maybe invisible. After a month, okay, colleague A knows a little bit more, but after a year,
Okay, now we see it.
they're not even in the same league anymore. It's not linear growth, it's exponential. Colleague A hasn't just gained 365 hours of skill. They've gained context, maybe new connections, practical application. Their whole value curve just shot upwards.
Which leads to this really crucial insight they hammer home. If you're not using time to actively grow, you are not just standing still.
No, definitely not.
You're actually falling behind. There's this analogy I thought it was really effective. Life is like a downward escalator.
Yeah, the downward escalator. I like that too. The idea is, with how fast things change now, technology, knowledge, what the source is called the skill decay rate, you almost need to spend time learning just to stay relevant, just to keep your footing.
So doing nothing means you're actually going backwards relative to everyone else who is putting in the effort.
Precisely. You're either building value, investing those seconds, or you're deteriorating relative to the baseline. There's no neutral gear when it comes to your time. It's a pretty relentless system when you look at it that way.
Okay, so if time is the currency,
Yeah.
the big question is, what's the best investment? Where do we put those precious seconds for the highest return? And the sources here make a really pragmatic, almost brutally honest case, they say. Shift your focus from the paper, the certificates, the degrees, onto actual practical skills.
Yeah.
Abilities.
Yeah, this felt like a major reality check, especially now. The message is stark. Life, the marketplace, it doesn't ultimately reward the piece of paper. It rewards what you can do.
The certificate might get your foot in the door.
Right.
Ticks a box for HR or whatever.
Sure, it opens the door. But the sources are crystal clear. Only your skills, your ability to solve problems, adapt, create real value, that's what keeps you inside the room and lets you climb higher.
They pay for practice, not just theory. What can you deliver?
Exactly. And the argument for focusing on skills goes further. They frame skills as like lifelong financial assets, dividends that keep paying.
How so?
Well, think about it. We worry about the stock market crashing, our savings evaporating, but skills, they're internal capital. They can't be stolen like money can. They can't really be lost in a recession.
Good point. They actually grow the more you use them, right?
Precisely. They grow with use, they compound over time. That's arguably better security than a traditional asset that can disappear overnight.
And this connects to what they call the false sense of security from just relying on credentials.
Oh, yeah, that was concerning. People spend years, maybe huge amounts of money, chasing a degree, believing that paper guarantees something. But the research is packed with examples of, highly credentialed graduates who are unemployed or stuck because they can't actually apply what they learned. They can't adapt.
While someone else, maybe self-taught, who focused intensely on building practical, in-demand skills, is thriving.
Right. Those self-taught developers, designers, marketers, they focused on doing and delivering value, and the market recognized it.
Did the sources get specific about which skills are most valuable, or was it just general advice?
No, they were pretty specific. They highlighted 3 areas, calling them the true currencies of the modern age. Skills that make you resilient, basically, no matter what the economy does.
Okay, let's hear them.
Absolutely. So first, knowing how to sell. And they didn't just mean closing deals, it's broader. Persuasion, communicating value, negotiation. Master that, they state emphatically, and you'll never be broke.
Interesting. Okay, what's number 2?
Knowing how to write and communicate clearly. I mean, think about it. We're drowning in information noise. Clarity, that's power. If you can write well, speak well, translate complex ideas simply, you'll always have influence.
Makes sense. And the 3rd?
Understanding technology. Not just being a user, but grasping the underlying structures, the
Yeah.
potential, how things work. That ensures you remain relevant when AI and new tools are literally changing industries every year,
Right.
sometimes faster.
Remain relevant.
Yeah.
That feels key. So sell, communicate, understand tech.
Yeah, and the crucial point they make alongside this is about how you acquire these skills. You don't necessarily need a 4-year degree for each one.
Right. The resources are out there now, aren't they?
Totally. They basically say excuses don't exist anymore. You've got YouTube, countless online courses, access to mentors, often for free or very low cost. The only real barrier is investing your time wisely.
Which brings us back to segment 1, right? It's all connected. That focused hour a day again. If you put that hour into mastering, say, data visualization instead of scrolling Instagram.
Exactly. After a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, that person isn't just slightly better. They might be indispensable to their team. They can command more money, lead bigger projects. The other person, still easily replaceable.
Because organizations ultimately pay for results, for problem solving, adaptability.
Precisely. They don't pay for the fancy degree on the wall unless that degree translates into tangible performance. That's why the person constantly honing practical skills will, over time, almost always leapfrog the person coasting on an old credential.
And the legacy point. Nobody remembers your certificate 20 years later.
Right. They remember the problems you solved, the value you created, the impact you made because you had the ability to make it. That's the real legacy.
Okay, so we've got the currency time. We know the best investment skills. Now we need the engine, the thing that powers consistent compounding effort. And the sources here, they don't mince words. It's discipline. Discipline beats motivation every single time.
Yeah, this distinction is critical, and it's rooted in, well, basic psychology, really. Motivation. It's primarily a feeling, an emotion.
And feelings are?
Unstable.
Let's say.
They fluctuate wildly, right? They depend on external things, hearing a great speech, New Year's Day, getting some positive feedback.
So if you rely only on motivation,
Your progress rises and falls like the wind, as one source put it. You're fired up one day, totally drained and uninspired the next. Motivation is like a spark, flares up bright, burns out fast.
that really challenges how most of us think about success, doesn't it?
Mm.
We imagine successful people are just constantly buzzing with inspiration. But hang on, did the sources say motivation has no role? Doesn't it kind of kick things off?
Yeah, that's a fair point, and they do acknowledge that. Motivation is often great for starting something. It provides that initial push, gets you excited, gets you off the sofa.
Okay.
But the real work, the grind, that starts when the initial motivation inevitably fades, which it always does, usually around day 3 or day 4, let's be honest.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And that's where discipline has to take over. Discipline isn't a feeling, it's a commitment. It's showing up regardless of how you feel. It's doing the work especially when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, bored, facing resistance.
So if motivation gets you to the starting line,
Discipline gets you across the finish line. And the sources are blunt. Success belongs not to the most motivated or inspired people, but to the most disciplined.
wow. Okay, so motivation is the hype, discipline is the substance.
You could say that. Motivation might start the marathon, gets you signed up and excited, but discipline runs the actual race, mile after mile, especially when it gets tough. Without discipline, goals just stay half-finished. Skills remain undeveloped, you quit.
And that compounding effect we talked about just stops dead in its tracks.
Exactly. But with discipline, you push through that friction, that fatigue, and that persistence itself creates momentum. It actually starts to feel a bit easier over time, paradoxically.
When we look at those top performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, we often romanticize their lives. But the research paints a much more mundane picture, doesn't it?
Totally mundane. Most of their days are described as ordinary, repetitive, and often boring. Success isn't built on constant excitement or dramatic breakthroughs.
It's built on just showing up,
Yeah,
doing the reps, day in, day out, whether they feel like it or not.
right. One study looked at how elite musicians viewed practice. It wasn't always fun. It wasn't about waiting for inspiration. It was simply necessary. Discipline is that voice inside that just says, do the necessary thing anyway.
Like getting up for that early hour of learning we discussed. Motivation might work for a few sunny mornings.
But when it's dark, cold, raining, the bed is warm, you slept badly, motivation is useless. Discipline is the system, the habit that physically gets your feet on the floor.
So prioritizing discipline means you stop being a slave to your moods. You depend on your routines instead.
Exactly. Your habits become the vehicle. They carry you forward automatically, even when your emotional fuel tank is reading empty. And that's how the compounding really takes off.
1 page a day becomes a book. One workout becomes fitness. 1 hour of practice becomes mastery.
It doesn't need that constant raging fire of motivation. It needs the steady flame, as they put it, of discipline. The disciplined person wins in the long run because they're consistent. They value their future self more than their present comfort. Simple as that, really.
Okay, so we've got the components lined up. Time is currency, skills is the investment, discipline is the engine. Powerful stuff. But there's this external factor, right? Something that can either turbocharge all this effort or completely derail it. And that's your environment, specifically the people you spend time with, your circle.
Yeah, the sources call this an invisible force, but maybe ambient is a better word. It's always there, shaping you subtly. The idea is nobody really makes it or fails totally alone. The people closest to you, your friends, family, colleagues, they profoundly influence your mindset, your habits, your expectations, often without you even noticing.
They're either a tailwind pushing you forward, lifting your standards.
Or they're an anchor, dragging you down, keeping you stuck.
Let's talk about that downward pull, because the sources suggest it's really insidious. It's not always obvious negativity.
No, it's often much subtler. It's about spending significant time with people who just waste time. People whose default mode is complaining but never acting, gossiping, avoiding responsibility, prioritizing distraction.
And being around that constantly, it just lowers your own standards, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And normalizes mediocrity.
Yeah.
It makes wasting time feel,
Oh.
okay, acceptable.
Absolutely. It's like ambient sabotage. The research sometimes looks at metrics like, average time spent on unproductive activities within a peer group. If your main friends spend 2 hours every night just passively consuming stuff, you'll probably start feeling like that's normal, even justified.
Exactly. But flip that. If your circle is always talking about ideas, learning new things, holding each other accountable for goals, your whole frame of reference shifts upwards. Your circle acts like a mirror reflecting your potential future and also a catalyst.
Which leads to that blunt advice. If you want to predict your future, take a hard look at your friends.
It sounds harsh, but there's truth in it. Surround yourself with people who are disciplined, ambitious, focused on growth, and that energy is genuinely contagious.
Their actions push you. Their standards make you raise your own game. It reminds you what's actually possible.
But the key thing here is being intentional about it. It's easy to just drift into friendships, right? Inherit them from school or work.
It's much harder and takes more courage to consciously choose or curate your circle based on whether they align with the future you're trying to build.
You have to ask those uncomfortable questions, don't you?
Definitely. Questions like, do these people genuinely encourage my goals, or are they mostly a distraction? Do they challenge me to be better, or do they make it comfortable to just stay average?
And the point isn't about judging them as people.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about protecting your investment, your time, your energy, your potential. The sources are clear. Even the strongest personal discipline can be worn down, eroded, and eventually broken by being constantly immersed in a negative or stagnant environment.
That's a sobering thought.
It is, and it leads to perhaps the toughest truth in this whole section. Sometimes real loyalty needs redefining.
What do you mean?
We often think loyalty means sticking by people no matter what, even if they're actively holding us back or draining our energy. But the sources suggest true loyalty might actually be loyalty to your purpose, loyalty to your future self, the potential you're trying to realize.
So letting go of relationships that consistently sabotage your growth, that might be necessary.
It might be. Painful, yes, but potentially essential to avoid wasting years, maybe decades, in the wrong company, pulled down by that anchor effect. It's a hard calculation, but one the sources imply is critical.
Because when you do align yourself with people who share that hunger, that respect for time and discipline,
Everything changes. Growth stops feeling like such an uphill battle. It becomes easier, more natural, because the environment supports it, the energy lifts you, the standards pull you forward.
your circle, it's either your greatest weakness or your greatest strength. No middle ground, really. You have to treat it like the critical asset or liability that it is. Okay, we've built this whole picture now. Time is the currency. Skills are the investment. Discipline is the engine that drives it. And your circle protects or sabotages that investment. Now we get to the synthesis, the part where it all comes together in a daily practice, a framework for personal accountability. It boils down to applying the law of compounding directly to, well, to you, to your destiny.
Right. Every tiny choice you make today, every single one is compounding. It's adding up bit by bit to shape the person you will eventually become. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line.
And this isn't just like philosophical mumbo-jumbo.
Yeah.
It's real, tangible.
Absolutely. The skipped workouts versus the completed ones, that literally determines your physical health and energy levels 5 years from now. No question.
The hours you spent scrolling TikTok versus the hours you spend learning that new software, that directly impacts your career options and earning potential a decade out.
And those small, seemingly insignificant daily choices about spending versus saving, that adds up to either financial freedom or financial stress later in life. Nothing is neutral. Every moment counts.
Every moment is either a deposit or a withdrawal from the bank account of your future self. That's a powerful image.
It is, and it leads directly to what the sources call the future self-test. It's a psychological tool, really, designed to create immediate internal accountability.
So you don't need someone else looking over your shoulder.
Exactly. Forget external pressure or validation. The only judge whose opinion truly matters in the long run is you, your future self, looking back.
And the test is meant to be brutally honest, right?
Completely. It cuts through the excuses, the rationalizations. It forces you to confront your actual patterns of behavior and ask, do these align with the person I say I want to become?
So the question to ask yourself daily is,
Basically, if my future self, the me from 10 or 20 years from now, could speak to me right now, observing my choices today, what would they say?
oof, okay.
Would they be looking back with gratitude? Would the message be, thank you for staying focused when it was hard. Thank you for being disciplined when the reward wasn't immediate. Thank you for pushing through when everyone else gave up or took the easy path.
That would be the ultimate reward, wouldn't it? Knowing you delivered for that future person.
Absolutely. But then there's the other side.
Yeah, the painful side.
Would that future self be looking back filled with disappointment, regret? Would the message be, why? Why did you waste so much time on things that didn't matter? Why didn't you protect your energy better? Why didn't you fight harder for me, for us, when you had the chance, the strength, the opportunity?
That hits hard. That's the cost of neglect, paid by someone who can't change the past.
And this ties into the difference between intentions and patterns. We all intend to be better, healthier, more successful. Greatness isn't built on good intentions, though.
It's built on.
Countless small, consistent actions. Those actions form your patterns. And it's your patterns, not your intentions, that shape your future self.
So if your daily pattern is consistently choosing comfort over effort, distraction over focus, easy over hard,
Then your future self will inevitably be weaker. They'll likely be more regretful. Their options in life will be more limited. That's just the mathematical outcome of those compounded choices.
but conversely, if your pattern is consistently choosing discipline over excuses,
Choosing investment over instant gratification, effort over ease. Then your future self will be stronger. They'll be more fulfilled. They will have more freedom, more options, more peace of mind. It's the non-negotiable law of compounding destiny.
and the power of this test is, you can't lie to that future self. They'll know.
They'll feel it. They'll feel the truth of your daily choices in their body, in their bank balance, in their relationships, in their sense of accomplishment or lack thereof.
So the final takeaway here is really a daily practice. Every morning, maybe, pause and ask that question.
Yeah, before the day sweeps you away, just pause and ask, honestly. Are the choices I'm about to make today going to build a future my older self will thank me for? Or am I laying the groundwork for regret?
Your destiny isn't some far-off event.
No, it's
Yeah.
being written right now, in this minute, with this choice. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. We have covered a huge amount of ground today, really unpacking this framework for sustained personal compounding. The three pillars that came through so clearly from all the sources seem to be, first, really respecting time as your ultimate non-renewable currency, valuing seconds like dollars, maybe even more. Second, prioritizing practical skill mastery over just collecting credentials. Applied ability is what pays the real dividends.
Right.
And third, relying on unwavering discipline as your engine, not getting fooled by the ups and downs of fleeting motivation.
Absolutely. And the core conclusion, weaving through everything we looked at, is that life really isn't about the chances you get handed. It's about the choices you make every single day with the resources you have, especially time.
Because money lost can often be regained, maybe new opportunities appear.
But wasted time, that's gone forever. Those missed opportunities to grow, to build, they don't come back. Discipline has to be the guide.
So as we wrap up, here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with, something to really chew on. Since we know every moment, every choice is like a deposit or withdrawal from your future self's account, ask yourself this today. Which single small choice, maybe it's investing 1 hour in a key skill, Maybe it's protecting a standard in an important relationship. Maybe it's decisively cutting out one recurring distraction. Which one small choice available to you today will likely have the largest compounding interest rate when your future self finally collects the balance?
Find that highest yield deposit and make it.